What is going on YouTube and Diablo 2 Resurrected fans? So, if you watch my last video, you'll see that I found a Griffin's Eye diadem, and I'm really looking to get a Grief Runeword for my Tesladin, and excuse me, I traded that Griffin's, and now I'm going to roll that Grief with you guys, and we're gonna check out how that rolls. Um, from my past videos, you've probably seen I haven't had the best of luck at all, and I'm hoping to change that now with this grief roll, but you never know, and that's the fun of it all. So let's see how this is going to roll. So we've got our 5-socketed phase blade that we're going to roll this grief in. The phase blade, because of its attack speed and its being indestructible, is probably the best base for grief, because the average damage, it doesn't roll percent damage or anything like that. So the average damage, no matter what base you put it in, you're going to get base damage plus that average damage. So you want to go for speed and durability, and that's what the phase blade is best at. So it's often the best base for grief. So the runes we need for this are Eth, Tyr, Low, Mull, and Ral. Just double checking that quickly. That is correct. Yeah, we are hoping for a high increased attack speed roll here and a high average damage roll. I'm really hoping for something good here. I feel like you can't have bad luck forever. So let's roll this. This is going to replace my Oath Runeword, which has been fine up until now, but you know, Grief is just the strongest melee weapon in the game because of that average damage that it adds, that no other single-handed weapon can match. And I mean, I'd say Last Wish is a close contender. Maybe Breath of the Dying in a small way, or Doom or Death, but you know, Grief is just, for this character, because of its attack speed, will be the ultimate. Still Last Wish, like I mentioned in the guide of the Tesladin, will be awesome. But yeah, let's roll this and see what we get. Eth, Tyr, the big one, Low, and the Mull. Last one. Let's see what we got. Oh, I'm not gonna show you. I have to show you. Let's see this. 36 and 271, so that's just above average on both accounts there. Look, you can say that's good, because if it's better than average, it's good. So there we got our grief. So the strongest melee build in the game, which I think is this Tesladin, now has the strongest melee weapon in the game, which is grief. So I just wanted to stop there and have a look quickly at, firstly, why is grief so good as a melee class weapon, and why is it so good in particular for this Tesladin and this build. So firstly, grief has been widely regarded for a long time as the best melee weapon in Diablo 2 and Diablo 2 Resurrected. That's even over much more expensive runewords like Last Wish and all sorts of other items that, you know, are expensive as weapons or single-handed weapons. And firstly, what makes grief so good is, above everything else, is its damage. So if you look at the one-handed damage, 31 to 35 on the phase blades, doesn't look impressive at all. But basically, you're taking that plus damage of 371, and that is added to your minimum and your maximum damage. So you are doing the 402 damage to 406 damage. So your average damage of that is better than any other weapon, pretty much. Because most other weapons, for instance, I don't know if we have a death here. I don't have my death there right now. Most weapons will, let's say, be between 100 and 400 damage or something like that. So your average damage is much less. Where here on Grief, your average damage is almost your max damage all the time. And that damage in Diablo's damage calculator and how it works is before all your other additions. So let's say your 350% damage to demons, and if you're using a fortitude, your enhanced damage. So that damage gets all the bonuses afterwards. So that flat damage that Grief gives you and the average damage that that produces is more powerful than any other melee weapon. So that is the major part of Grief and what makes it so strong. Another thing is that that can be added to Smite if you're an Uber Paladin or something like that. So that massive amount of damage gets added to all sorts of melee attacks, and it's just such a solid chunk of damage and is so consistent in comparison to other weapons, and that's what makes Grief so strong. Then some of the other attributes that make it great are the increased attack speed, so that can roll between 30 and 40% increased attack speed. So this one rolled 36, so just over average for that. That damage, by the way, can roll between 340 and 400, so getting 371 is one above the average, which is better than nothing. And so both rolls in terms of the increased attack speed and the damage were just one above what is flat down the middle average. So that attack speed is a great bonus of Grief as well. And using a phase blade, which is already a fast base to use, just makes this a very fast attacking weapon. And the next big thing about it is the ignore target defense and the minus target defense. So the ignore target defense will work for regular monsters and basically takes that out of the equation for hitting, which makes this a very consistent hitting weapon with that consistent damage. Then the minus 25% target defense works on bosses where the ignore target defense doesn't work, so that helps you out there as well. So then the damage to demons based on character level is also a huge amount of damage because half the monsters in Diablo are demons, so you're dealing that amount of damage at least 50% of the time. And that combined with your laying of hands with your 350% damage to demons just makes you slay demons quicker than any other melee combination, you know. And then the deadly strike, basically that mechanic works as a percent chance to deal double damage. So you have 20% deadly strike there, you have the 30 odd percent on your high lords, and your 50% chance on your gore riders, so you have a good close to 70% chance there, or around 70% chance to have double damage all the time, which is also fantastic. Next we have the prevent monster heal, which let's say you're fighting bosses or Ubers or something like that is great, which means they're not just gonna heal back up their health. And then the mana after kill and the life after kill is just a very useful mod as well. So overall there's not a lot of useless or wasted mods here on Grief. So it's overall that average damage just surpasses anything else, making it the best in the slot melee weapon in Diablo 2 Resurrected. And now where this ties into this build, basically you are doing a lot of damage with your aura and your lightning damage, but then you're still ultimately a Zealer, and you are going to be doing a lot of single target damage as well, and you're going to be doing it very quickly. So between the Grief, the Laying of Hands, or any 20 increased attack speed gloves, and your High Lords, you're going to hit that second fastest breakpoint with Zeal, which is going to make you attack like a beast. I mean, we can see very quickly um, where we'll just go to the Frigid Highlands quickly. When you just see how fast this character attacks, that is a very big part of this build. I mean, he's able to do damage extremely quickly there, and that attack speed bonus from Grief combined with the rest of your items to get that breakpoint is just fantastic overall for the build. And next, why it's great for the build is you are going to have some sort of life stolen per hit, percent life stolen per hit, whether it's on a bolt or rings or wherever you get that from. Ultimately, I want a leech ring. That average damage, your percent health stolen is based on that, and because of Grief's consistent solid damage, it makes healing up your health really effective with this hero, this character, so that helps with your survivability as well. Having good solid physical damage for your life leech to work off of. So that's another reason it's so great for this character. And then this character, because of its versatility, you're able to farm anywhere in the game and do Ubers and everything like that. So having that average damage that is so good, and if you're using Smite, works perfectly for Ubers, and that's again another positive in what makes this such a good weapon for the Tesladin. So that attack speed, that average damage, what you're able to leech off of it, the deadly strike, all of that ties into the rest of your gear with this Tesladin, the damage to demons, all of that really, really well. And basically, Last Wish with its crushing blow and some of its other mods is also an alternative, but for the price and just the effectiveness, Grief is by far the best weapon for this Tesladin. I mean, he really, really melts things using Grief. We'll just quickly kill a few more monsters here just to show you, but I mean, compared to the Oath that I was using before, Grief just completely outshines it and overshadows it. There's no comparison whatsoever. Where's a nice group? I mean, even these are lightning immune. They get broken by conviction, but they're still resistant to lightning, and they just die so absolutely quickly. I mean, a Venom Lord, yeah, you can see it's like one shot kill basically with Grief. There's another elite. I mean, everything dies almost instantaneously when you start attacking them. And again, this isn't by far or by any means like the best geared Tesladin or character. This is just with a down the middle of the road average Grief, and this is just how powerful it is. I mean, it really is amazing how powerful Grief is. I mean, you can just see him hitting away there and how everything is just getting annihilated. It's fantastically strong. I couldn't be happier with the choice for weapon here. So that is, in a nutshell, just a wrap-up of Grief and how strong it is on this character, and in general also why it is the strongest melee weapon in the game. It's just that average damage that it does is uncontested with any other weapon, and it it can't be competed with, which in a way is unfortunate. But I mean, it's a very definitive winner in being the best melee weapon in the game here. And I think, in my opinion, this Tesladin is the strongest melee character in the game. So combining it with the strongest melee weapon is just ideal. You know, you couldn't really ask for anything more. I mean, everything dies so extremely quickly. Duriel shell there. So we can quickly see on Diablo, just as a last demonstration here, how quickly Grief's damage is applied. He goes down, you know, in a few seconds. So, that is my overview of Grief for the Tesladin, and I hope you enjoyed it and it gave you some insight into this weapon and how it works with this hero. I hope you'll come back for more content, and if you liked it, please subscribe and hit that like button, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you. Cheers.